So welcome to this webinar on Scanmarker Pro. We're joined today by James Wright, who's the product specialist at Aventido. Thanks for joining us, James. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to talking a little bit about the Scanmarker Pro and the Scanmarker suite of special reading pens. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. And if anyone does have any questions, please do feel free to just sort of jump on in or pop something in the chat or the Q&A at any point. I'm happy to address it. So as mentioned, I'm talking about Scanmarker. So first off, what actually is Scanmarker? There is a series of reading and translation pens developed to help students who have, say, dyslexia, visual impairment engage with inaccessible text, but also those students who are perhaps learning an additional language, English as an additional language, foreign language learning students with various methods of translation. There's a few different models of pens. There are ones that capture onto your other devices for referencing revision materials, or there's the one I'll be talking about primarily today, which is the Pro, which is a standalone device. Why should we use a reading pen? Well, it's incredibly simple to use. I actually heard a really cool word called mid-tech recently, and that's the technology is very high-tech and how it works, but it's so simple, anyone can just pick it up and start scanning away, and it will start reading that information. It's highly portable. Of course, if you're a student with a disability, your disability isn't just restrained to that classroom. You have visual impairment outside the classroom. You have dyslexia in the library as well. You can take it everywhere with you. You can boost that reading comprehension and literacy, and most importantly, that confidence with reading and engaging with text in your studies. Multiple ways of processing that information. So you'll be listening to that auditory information as well as reading along. So it highlights as it's reading that text. It is also an audio recorder, so you can take your voice notes or record your classes, such like that. We've recently developed an exam pen as well. So a student that will be using a reading pen like Scanmarker within their classroom could also use it within an exam space just as easily. And as mentioned, it does have a series of different translation, text and spoken translation, which is really, really cool. Always gets me very excited. The main product I'll be talking about, I mentioned, is the Scanmarker Pro. So this offers text-to-speech. It will read that inaccessible text for us. It has an inbuilt dictionary. It's an audio recorder, so you can take your voice memos, your voice notes, or record classes. It's got 8 gigabytes of storage, or 1,000 minutes of storage capacity. You can store your favorite words or sentences, so you can refer back to later to boost your contextual understanding of single words, or you can save your referencing or revision materials directly when you're out and about, such as in the library. It's got this spoken translation, and that offers 70 plus different languages. Doesn't need an internet connection. It is Wi-Fi enabled and Bluetooth enabled, but it can work completely offline, so you can use it anywhere and everywhere. Fully rechargeable battery, you use a USB cable to charge it, so you don't need to worry about replaceable battery. There is another model I'll also be showing, which is a newer version, which is called the Scanmarker Exam Pro. This is developed specifically for exam use. So this offers basic text, this offers text to speech, so it'll read that text for those students with dyslexia. It also offers offline translation into 5 different languages. Fully rechargeable battery again, so you don't need to worry about those batteries. You can just use the USB to charge that very easily. Everything is adjustable, so the reading speed, the accent, we've got a British and American accent. It's left and right-handed, so you can scan both ways. And we worked around the JCQ guidelines to optimize this specific tool, which currently states permitted examination reading pen will not have a built-in dictionary or thesaurus or any data storage facilities. So we remove the dictionary specifically for the exam pen, as well as those storage facilities such as the audio recording and the favoriting of words and sentences. But rather than me just taking you through a presentation, I always like to be a bit more practical. I like to show you it actually in action. So I'm actually going to share my other camera. I'm just going to remove this virtual background. There we are. I'm going to see if I can pin spotlight for everyone. There we are, and I hope everyone can see that okay. If you are having any issues, please do let me know. And as I said again, if you have any questions or the audio is not coming through, just give us a shout. So as you can see here, we have 3 different pens. We're not going to be talking about the Scanmarker reader. I just thought I would show you it here briefly. It is about collecting referencing or revision materials directly into any device, offers text-to-speech and customization options. But today I'm going to be talking more about this Scanmarker Pro and the Exam Pro. This is the Scanmarker Pro and this is the Exam Pro. As you can see, they look the same. I'll put that to the side for now. So it's got a large touch screen, so a very user-friendly interface. And the importance of this specifically for me is that I actually do have dyslexia myself. I went to a specialist dyslexia school, and during my A-levels, I went off and I had a human scribe and reader who would read to me in class. And it's not very cool to have a 40-year-old woman attending class so she can read to you. So a reading pen is a lot more discreet, but it's also quite a cool visual aesthetic. It's like a smartphone with a large touch screen and a nice, friendly, cool looking interface, which is something you can't underestimate the importance of. Physically, it comes with a secure case as well. So if there's a student with physical disabilities that might drop it or hand-eye coordination difficulties, it does come with a protective cover as well. It's USB chargeable here. You can plug in here. There's also an SD card slot, so you can have additional storage capacity for audio notes, as well as favoriting words and sentences to refer back to later. It's got a wide gate, and as you can see, there is even a little dash in the top here. That represents where you should actually scan the text. So we just turn that on. Quick run through of what's available. So there's read, which is the text-to-speech function. There's a dictionary inbuilt. There is a translation feature with 70 plus different languages. You can export onto your device, so your computer or your phone, where have you. This is my favorite one, phonetic or spoken translation. So you can speak directly into the device and it will translate that for you. It's an audio recorder, so you can store up to 1,000 minutes of audio storage. You've got your favorites. So you can store those individual words to refer back to later, or entire sentences for referencing. We'll start by going into the settings. So you can see it is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled here, so you can use perhaps a Bluetooth headset. If I start with the volume, the voice speed is fully adjustable. We found students with, say, visual impairment do like to listen to it very, very quickly. So having this fully customizable is quite important for many students. Got autoplay, so you can have it set so when you scan it, it will automatically start reading, or you can have it read to you once you decide you want it to be read, so you don't have to automatically have it read each and every time. There's multi-line scanning, or more rather continuous scanning. So you can do a few sentences or an entire page, and then it will read that entire page to you continuously, as opposed going line, waiting for it to process, going by another line, waiting for it to process. You can just continuously be scanning. It is both left and right-handed, meaning you can scan it this way, or you can scan it this way, based on the user's preference. There's something called auto power off. It's got about 8 hours of battery life. Obviously, you can recharge at any point. But auto power off will turn it off after a certain period of time, so 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and this will obviously help extend that battery life, so you don't need to be worrying about charging it all the time. Battery always seems to hold for quite a long time when I'm using it, so I rarely charge it. It stays very fully charged. So the first one I'm going to use is read, which is the text-to-speech. I am going to change my audio just momentarily. So yeah, the quality. And if it doesn't come through, as mentioned, we've got some videos we can send across. So you just pick it up, put it between a 60 and 90 degree angle, click it down, it lights up, and you just scan that straight across.
Who are you inviting?
It will read that for you.
Who are you inviting?
Again, I hope the volume was coming through okay. As you could see, it does also highlight as it's reading along. It's called a bimodal, my colleague mentioned the other day, which is you're reading, but you're also hearing. So it's another way to help the learning process of the student. You can click on any part and it will read from that section. A lot of students who do use these kind of reading pens, they use it for individual words. So we can hit word. You can click on any of the words and it will read that out. So if there's a specific word you're curious about, you can really dive into that. Along the side here, we've got this little book, and this will open up our dictionary feature as well. So we don't just have to start scanning through dictionary. It will give us our dictionary definition. We can also have this read out loud by hitting one of these speakers, or we can hit this little star, and that will save this for later. Leave this section. That's the read. The next part is the dictionary. If I click dictionary, again, we just pick a line. I'll do the same line, scan that straight across, processes.
Who are you inviting?
I'll read that out again. As you can see, each word is underlined, so we can select which one we're interested in. Gives us that dictionary definition. Gives us some examples of how it could be used in a sentence, which again we can have read to us. Or maybe I'm busy, I'm in the classroom, there's a word that's confusing to me, or I'm in the library, I want to refer back to this later, but not right now. Again, we just hit that little star that we saved to my favorites. As you can see, we've also got a sentence here. So let's say I want to save this for a reference later, or I want to revise a particular sentence later on. We can hit this little star, and that's now saved to my device as well. Hit back. I'll come back to the favorites as we go along further. It does offer translation to 70 plus different languages. So if I hit translate, you can hit this little cog to select through the languages. It gives you an instruction on the front. I don't know if you can see this, but this essentially will remind you each time you use it, just in case you do have issues with remembering. We just click it down. Let's stick to the same sentence there. We'll read that out in a Spanish accent, as that's the language we speak. We can hit original or the translation, so we can have that read at any point. So if we're trying to boost our understanding of that international language. Now, the bit I'm really excited about, as mentioned, spoken translation. Now, the reason I get so excited is because my girlfriend's Spanish, and my mother-in-law is Spanish, and she's actually visiting us this weekend. She doesn't speak any English, and I've been unsuccessfully learning Spanish for the past 2 years. So now I've been taking out my pen to sort of help us communicate, help us both learn a little bit more of each other's languages. So you can imagine a student who can use this perhaps to practice their own pronunciation or their own language abilities without needing a study buddy. This is how it looks like. This green button is your primary language. Mine's currently set to English. And this blue button is your secondary language. Mine's currently set to Spanish. You can hit this little cog at any point. The next function I've swiftly moved on to is you can export onto any device here. So you can save any words, sentences, information that you scan on the go, and then you can export it to your phone, to your computer. Doesn't need to stay on the device, but you can, of course, use the SD slot to save as much on here as you need. So we'll hit this little plus. As you can see, it gives a little instruction. Please scan vertically. Let's go for this sentence below. Once I'm happy with that, I just give it a little tick. I can give this a name for whatever reason it is. Maybe it's I don't know, history class, a maths class. We can give it a name for whatever this particular file is. Save that, and then we can export this once we've plugged it into a USB cable or connected to our device via Bluetooth at any point. We've got our favorites. So if I hit this favorites here, we've got these individual words that we've scanned previously and saved. So we've got who. Give us a dictionary definition again. So if we're trying to refer back, expand our vocabulary, expand our contextual understanding of that text, we can refer back to that. Or we can go into sentence and refer back to that sentence we scanned earlier.
Who are you inviting?
And we can look into the dictionary definition of any of those words. So that's the Scanmarker Pro, the normal one for the classroom and beyond. There is now the exam pen as well, and you are pretty much the first people to be seeing this particular model. It's very new. We're going to be doing a proper announcement in the next few weeks. But it does have the dictionary removed. It's also removed that storage capacity of those audio notes as well as the favoriting. So as you can see, it's got the text-to-speech translation, does offer that phonetic translation as well, but you've mostly used this function here. We hit read. Again, everything is customizable, so there's a little cog in here. We can adjust the reading speed directly within this section. We can change the accent, we can change the reading language, and then you just pick it up, click it down, scan that straight across.
Who are you inviting?
And it will just read that out. And of course, translation across 5 different languages, which is Spanish, German, Italian, and French.
Many class.
Fantastic. That is the 2 Scanmarker pens, the Scanmarker Pro and the Scanmarker Exam Pro. I am sorry, I should have double checked that the speaking feature was connected to the internet before I came on today, so 1,000 apologies for that. Yes, do you have any questions? Looks like Mike's come in with a question. Yes, it's got continuous scanning, Mike, so you can scan an entire paragraph. You can also scan individually. I can just show you that right now if you like as well. I'll just pick up the device, find a paragraph you like, scan, pick it up, scan, pick it up, scan. You can do this for the entire page, as much text as you like.
Almost all verbs have a form called the infinitive. Size a base form of.
As you can see, we just read out entire paragraphs that you scan.
Great, thanks, James. Did you say that you've also got a video of the demonstrations as well that we can send through at some point?
Absolutely, with probably better quality audio. I don't know how it's coming through today.
Yeah, it's been pretty fine. It was literally just that internet connectivity problem. I think that was the only issue, really. So, yeah, that's always the way, isn't it, when demonstrating?
Always something. And it was my favorite feature, Neil.
I know, and I hope it works for your mother-in-law. That's the
Oh,
key
yeah.
time to need it. Any more questions at all? I've got one actually. One of the issues that I know some people have found with scanning pens is when they don't use them for a while, there's issues with the batteries. Have you got any advice on that in terms of kind of keeping them charged and that type of thing?
Well, it does have that automatic off. So if you're not using it for a period of time, it'll turn off while it's pretty charged, which should prevent further issues down the line, hopefully. But I mean, I've not heard of any particular issues with the batteries. At least I'll look a bit more into, Neil.
Okay, great. And if someone did have a problem with the batteries or something like that, they could just get in touch, I assume. And
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. We'll see what we can arrange
okay,
and sort out.
great. And Mike said, do they have updates that need running?
Yeah, there will be updates going forward. This is reasonably new to the UK, and they're taking a lot of advice in how they can improve this product for the students. So it's highlighting as it's going along. This is quite a new feature, so there'll be updates. It'll notify you that there's a potential update, and then you can choose to update it when you've got internet connection.
Great. And Annabelle's asked, we've had some issues before with other devices with accuracy of picking up the correct words. Do you know roughly the accuracy? Thanks.
I don't have any numbers in terms of the accuracy of the sentences. I can only say from what I've experienced scanning, I've rarely spotted any mistakes. You can rectify potential mistakes in here as well. So this is quite a new thing. If I hit read, scan a sentence, if I scan that quite quickly, you can hit this little, not the cog, it's this button. Sorry, this is a brand new little function. You can hit this little function down here, hit this word pencil, and you can actually edit the text. So you can, if it has a small mistake, you're saving this for referencing or you want to hear it, you can just fix the entire mistake rather than having to be continuously scanning. So that's another option we've included quite recently to try and help with that issue.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Great. So I think we'll end the webinar there, but I'll stay on if you want, anyone wants to chat at the end. So yeah, just to say huge thank you for that, James, and I'll send through the slides and the recording to everyone that's registered. If there's any of the webinars that you want in future, then just let us know. They often come from recommendations from champions or queries from champions. So yeah, email us at techability@natspec.org.uk. You can find us on X, used to be Twitter, at tech_ability1. And I've also included the newsletter link there as well, where you can keep in touch with all our webinars and resources. We'll be releasing our mobile apps resource soon on there as well. So all completely free. So yeah, thank you, everyone. And thank you, James.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, James.